to our football portion, the Las Vegas Raiders. That's right, guys. The Raiders had a huge win over the Saints. It was huge. Specifically, almost every analyst picked the Saints. I know I was watching the pregame, and they're like, Saints. And even me, I thought the Saints would win this game, but I thought the Raiders would make it a lot closer. And we talked about it last week of, we think that the Raiders are being underrated. And of course, then they show what they can do. You and I were realists, as we talked about during the Giants segment, of there was no Michael Thomas. Okay. Right. So that helped us, of course. But there were a lot of times where Drew Brees was not accurate. Alvin Kamara, I don't understand why they didn't run him more, because he was gashing our defense.
Yeah.
And that's something we're going to have to fix this week, against like a Rex Burkhead. I don't know if James White is going to be there for the Patriots.
No, but there will be Sony Michel. And Patriots have been notorious for running back by committee, though, for a majority of the season. And Bill Belichick with his blocking.
Cam Newton.
And Cam Newton. Oh, my God.
Yeah, Cam Newton's in that running back committee.
Like, here we were when we did preseason predictions about the Patriots. We were like, 5-11, 4-12 if they're lucky. Now with Cam, it's they're probably the best in the AFC East right now, so...
Well, we did the AFC East, and I had the Patriots at 4-12. But remember, then they signed Cam Newton later, and I think I said 6-10. I think is what our and I think you agreed with it, or you said 7-9. I believe, I don't remember exactly, but so we did change it, but we didn't know they were going to be this good.
Yeah.
So. Cody, with this momentum of 2-0 for the Raiders, are they going to keep it, or is it going to welter away against the Patriots, in your opinion?
Well, one of the things, so I'm looking at the stats in the Saints, and I'm just going to kind of walk through why I'm going to come to the conclusion I'm coming to when we played New England this Sunday, is when we played the Saints, we didn't really get that much pressure on Drew Brees. He wasn't sacked a single time. We gave up almost 6 yards per rush against the run game, regardless of whoever the running back was for the Saints. Alvin Kamara, even though he was the Saints' number one target, you can make an argument that Drew Brees just for some reason couldn't get the ball to the other receivers, because I was thinking receivers like Emmanuel Sanders would really decimate us, and really he only had 3 targets. Traquan Smith was the only one that had more than 7 targets. He had 5 receptions. So it was kind of a pedestrian receiving game for the most part, but Alvin Kamara, though, had the Saints just not gone away from that game plan, he alone would have beaten us for sure, which kind of concerns me with the Raiders, because we didn't have any sort of pressure on Drew Brees. We didn't get any pressure in the backfield to kind of prevent these running games. And in my opinion, I think the Patriots have a better O-line, and I think they have a better run scheme when it comes to how they're working with Cam Newton, Rex Burkhead, and Sony Michel. And if ever they get James White back this season, I think they're, in my opinion, a little bit better than the Saints, only because, again, they've got more running back by committee, rather than the Saints have really one player that is dynamic. And I think what the problem is with the Raiders is we still don't have, other than Crosby, who gets pressure, but he didn't get a sack. And then I know that we got Colin Farrell. It's his second season. So our defense still, for some reason, can't pressure that much. And what ends up happening, especially with Cam Newton, is when he rolls outside the pocket, he's deadly. And he threw for over 400 yards in the most recent game that they had against, what was that team again? The Seattle Seahawks. He threw for over 400 yards against that defense. And all he did was roll out. He rushed a little bit, got 2 rushing touchdowns, of course, rolled out and was able to find Edelman, Harry, and a slew of other players. And the Raiders secondary is significantly worse than the Seahawks. So if our front 7 really can't get to Cam, who can break outside the pocket and really create plays with his legs, it concerns me, because I don't think our DBs can hold, Edelman in front of them. I'm really concerned about that. I would not doubt that not only can Cam run for another 80 yards probably on 10 rushes, but he'll probably throw for another 300 yards, because our Raider defense is okay. But, I think now the Patriots offense is running basically full strength. And I know there's an argument that Cam Newton doesn't have that many weapons, but it looks like he had some good weapons against when the Patriots played against the Seahawks. Even though they stopped him at the goal line, he still was throwing that ball everywhere.
Yeah.
And again, that's my concern with the Raiders. It's always our defense. I like that we blitz a little bit more. I like that we have our linebackers really helping out. But it's our secondary. It's always been our secondary for the last 6-7 seasons. Our secondary has always been questionable.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had really a shutdown cornerback since Charles Woodson back in the early 2000s, and he left us for Green Bay to win a Super Bowl. So that's my concern, is that the Raiders still have secondary issues. We still have a linebacking core that gets injured pretty frequently. It's a little bit better than it was last season, thankfully, with Littleton in the lineup. But again, though, our secondary is the one thing that kind of really hurts us, especially when we need to get off the field on third down. Our DBs usually give up some flat run or some out or even over the top. Our safeties overcommit to the underneath, and it leaves somebody open over top. And with Cam Newton, especially, rejuvenated the way he is, don't think that Cam Newton's not going to throw all over our defense. So that's my concern. So I unfortunately am going to say I think the Raiders are going to experience their first loss in New England. Again, I think Bill Belichick is, an assassin in terms of coaching, and with Cam Newton and that offense running high power, I don't think there's anything our defense can do to really stop that. And that's why, unfortunately, I think the Raiders are going to suffer their loss this season.
Earlier this year, I picked the Raiders over the Patriots. I still don't feel that bad about it. The only thing that I see could be the issue is we're kind of on a short week. Obviously we played Monday night. Now we're going on Sunday to play New England in New England. So that's really my biggest concern right now. Obviously the defense, like you mentioned, has not been great. I'm still very encouraged by Trayvon Mullen. I think he's actually done a really good job in his second year. I know on the offseason he actually worked out with Ocho Cinco and, really try to perfect, stopping these top receivers. And you can see it. I mean, he's had his miscues here and there. There's no question. He's still a young player, so he's still learning, obviously, and you're going to see that. Damon Arnett, same thing for him. I think I've been encouraged by a lot of his plays. There also have been plays that he's given up that obviously are rookie mistakes. So, in that instance, yes, I get it. I'm very, very disappointed in Eric Harris right now. I think he has not been playing well. I know people are probably going to, yell at me for that because he's a team captain and all. But as a team captain, you should be going and making these plays like Jonathan Abram has been making plays. Jonathan Abram has not only been just, smashing players, who catch the ball or, or running the ball or whatever it may be. He's also been an energy boost. And I feel like Eric Harris should be a little bit of that energy boost, but also he should be better in coverage, and his coverage has not been good. And that's what he's supposed to be known for, is that he's supposed to be a ball hawk, but he's not doing that. So he's my biggest issue right now. We still have a very young DB core, specifically in the cornerback department. So, I want to see, obviously better play. I think these receivers that we're going against, we actually matched up really well. I think Edelman is going to Edelman to anyone. But I do feel good. I would love to see like an Amik Robertson going against Edelman, because he is a guy who can kind of rough up players. And I don't think Edelman will be able to take that, especially with his injury history. I think he's going to be a little more tiptoe. So you want someone who's going to kind of rough up Edelman a little bit. And I think Robertson would be good. Throw Abram on him a couple of times. I think he'll feel him. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that. Here's the thing. We're talking about, the Raiders defense has to stop, Sony Michel. They have to stop Rex Burkhead, which is a big factor, no question. But let's also talk about who the New England has to stop. New England has to stop Josh Jacobs, and that's first and foremost. Josh Jacobs right now is an early MVP candidate. This guy is a beast right now. He ran – I remember I was watching the Saints game, and I was kind of looking, and I was like, Josh Jacobs, he's not really getting going. And then I looked at his stats and I was like, man, he has actually been gashing them. And then you go back and you kind of look at some of the plays that he had. He had some big plays. I mean, there was this one run where I was watching and it was like a 9-yard run and it was on a first down. And they were talking about how, Ruggs spread out that offense because they put him in motion. And then it was that play where I don't know if you could hear I don't know if you watched the game. Did you watch it, Cody?
I watched the full game, yeah.
Oh, okay. So there was that one where Foster Moreau was on the left side and Carr is like, Foster, other side.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get him over there. And then so Moreau goes wide out, and then all of a sudden they run it with Jacobs, and he gets a 9-yard run. So it was you wouldn't look at it much and just be like, and people were also talking, oh, well, Carr doesn't know what he's doing. Well, Carr knew what he was doing on that play for sure, and he's the one who got Jacobs to that run. So here's the thing. You have to stop Jacobs, but they also have to stop Derek Carr, and they also have to stop Rodney Hudson, because Rodney Hudson's brain knows offensive line and how to stop defensive linemen. Then Derek Carr knows how to read the defenses. Whether you like him or not, you have to admit he has been audibling a lot this year. Gruden has given him an open book in this playbook, and he's been flourishing in it. And then you also have to stop Josh Jacobs, who is a very smart, agile running back. He is so good at seeing the holes that maybe we would never see. So these three tiers are tough to stop. Then you have to worry about Darren Waller. Now, the only issue right now is the Raiders are without Nick Kwiatkowski, Trent Brown, and Henry Ruggs. They're all out for this game. The Ruggs thing, I think, is going to be a bigger deal. We've already basically been without Trent Brown this whole time, so that's not that big. Kwiatkowski, he's a good linebacker. He would help on the defensive side, so that is going to be a little bit of a hit. But I think Henry Ruggs being out is the bigger hit, because now you don't really have that deep threat. I mean, you could throw out Rico Gafford because he's got a lot of speed. So I think we're going to see a lot of Gafford, but I think we're going to see a lot of short throws, which actually may benefit, because I think what the Raiders are going to try and do against this Patriots team is exactly what they did against the Saints. They were on the field, it seemed like, all game long. That offense was on the field, and they kept Drew Brees on the sideline. And that's what they need to do. They need to keep Cam Newton on the sideline. It's going to be a lot of Jacobs. It's going to be a lot of Hunter Renfrow, short pass, maybe like 3-yard catches. You're going to see Darren Waller get these quick passes. You're going to see probably Rico Gafford with a couple of wide receiver screens, in my opinion. Nelson Aguilar, I think, will get a couple of catches here and there. So I think you're going to see a lot of quick passes, a lot of runs. It's going to be old school football, but that's by design. So